welcome to another episode of Baby Names Live, a production of Babynames.com. I'm Jennifer Moss. I'm the founder of Babynames.com. And with me is...
I'm Miranda Mendelson. I am Jennifer's daughter.
She's the heiress to the Baby Names fortune, right?
Yes.
Do you remember when you asked me if you could be the Baby Names heiress?
I mean, technically, that is what I am. Isn't Jennifer's Daughter a horror movie?
I don't know.
Or Jennifer's Baby?
No, Rosemary's Baby. Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of that.
It's our last live before Halloween, so.
It is, yeah. And we do have some spooky name lists up on the website, so go check those out. First, some feedback about our latest episode on Harry Potter names. We didn't get as much feedback as I thought we would get. I have never watched the movies or read the books, but I put that disclaimer in the episode. We did get one Harry Potter enthusiast, Ricky H., who said she was disappointed and that we got Hagrid's name wrong. We switched his first and middle name. So Rubius is Hagrid's first name. So we are putting that out there. And we thank you for that correction. Now, we did say on the show that we weren't super fans, and if you are a super fan and have something to add or a correction to let us know, just write us at podcast@babynames.com and we will be happy to correct ourselves. Now, you're a fan, right, Miranda?
Yeah, I'm a fan by proxy. I am a fan in the fact that I have been forced to watch these movies over and over again because my husband is a Potterhead, and I enjoy them for sure, but I've definitely seen them more than if I were to just be a casual watcher of them. But yeah, so I've probably gone through the entire series at least 8 times.
You're kidding? That much?
Yeah, 100%.
What's your favorite name then?
My favorite name? Do
you like Hermione?
I do like Hermione. I like Severus Snape because it's alliterative, and I really like alliterative since I have an alliterative name.
Right.
And I do, and another alliterative one is Luna Lovegood.
Yeah.
Lovegood. Yeah.
Yeah. Mallory and I have like some contention over Luna. I'm not a fan of the name. She loves it.
I like it, but I feel like it's kind of turned into a pet name. That's the first thing. Like I think of a black cat named Luna or something like that.
Oh, a pet name, not a pet name for people, but
no,
like
pets. A cat.
That makes sense. So anyway, thanks, Ricky, for your feedback on that.
Yes, and Alex Beard, who is a member of the Baby Names podcast group here on Facebook, said that she was excited for the Harry Potter episode and posted that some of her favorite names from Harry Potter are Kingsley, Seamus, Luna, Rubius, Severus, Cedric, Arabella, I like that one too, Emmerich, Fleur, and Ollivander. Ooh, I also like Fleur.
I really like Ollivander. You like Fleur?
Ollivander's? Yeah. I like Fleur a lot.
Flower in French.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ollivander. It's such a great combo name. It's, combination of like Oliver and Alexander.
Yeah.
I probably, if I were to use it, I'd use it with one L, like Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Although I just realized that Oliver has one L, but Ollie has 2 L's. That's interesting.
That is true. But Ollie is short for Oliver in most cases, right? Interesting.
Yeah, most cases, yeah.
Maybe because if it only had one L, it'd be like Oli.
Oli. Yeah. Maybe
that's what it would look like.
Sound. We also heard from loyal listener and live watcher Jenny Galen Stillwell, who says she just found out they're having a girl. So congratulations. Now she's given me permission to talk about their name choice, which is Amelia Yvette with an E. Evette. Now, she said they chose Amelia because her husband is an aviation buff, and his favorite pilot is Amelia Earhart. And Yvette, because it's a nature name, it means yew tree. And it actually, Yvette, Jenny, has 2 different kind of meanings. Now, if it's an alternate spelling to Yvette, then it does mean you. And that's pretty much common here in the US that it's an alternate spelling. But if it's a diminutive of the name Eve, which would be more of the French name Yvette, then it would mean what Eve means, and that's life. But both great meanings. You know, it's a nature name and it means life. So that's wonderful. And we have a tie to Amelia Earhart. Do you want to talk about that name?
Well, your
marriage?
your stepmom is a descendant of Amelia Earhart, shares the last name and everything. So that is super, super cool. But we still don't know the end to the mystery.
I know. I know she's a niece. So she's like a great grand niece or something to that effect.
I think she had like a family portrait of her mom in a painting with Amelia Earhart's daughter, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Something like that.
Yeah, so definitely a part of our family, and we're very proud of Amelia. I also love the name. My BFF when I was 6 years old was named Amelia, and that was back before it was super popular. And she went by Mia, and I really just have always loved the name. I think it's very classic and never goes out of style. So good choices, Jenny.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the pic of the baby. And then we wanted to go over some names in the wild that we've come across, so that some are a little kooky. One, I heard that a couple named their son Pika after Pikachu, because the dad was a very big fan of Pikachu. What do you think of Pika, Pika, Miranda?
If I heard Pika out of context, I would immediately think of pica, which is a condition in which you eat non-edible things.
Right.
I don't think of
non-food
Pikachu.
items.
And I feel like there might have been better Pokemon that like would have more, I don't know, namey names. Although now I'm thinking the only thing I can think of is like Jigglypuff. That wouldn't work.
Don't name your child Jigglypuff, please.
No. Or maybe like Char for Charizard. I don't know. I feel like there was like more.
There's got to be other things to, well, maybe, but Pikachu.
Maybe that was his favorite. Yeah. Or what about Chewy? I don't know.
Chewy. I don't think that
was
I don't know.
There's another one, meta, as in metadata or referring to oneself. I actually like meta. I think it's kind of like new agey, kind of techie.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
millennial.
That's what Elon Musk should have named his kid.
That's true.
I still don't know how to say his kid's name.
Just whatever. Airplane. Meta Musk. Ooh,
there we go.
There's your alliterative name for
I
you.
know, exactly.
I'm going to have to call him and tell him.
And his mother is named May Musk, so it'd be another M name.
Oh, I did not know that. Good job. Good job. Okay, another one is Haze. Haze.
I like that.
Like Hazel without the L, so it could be it could be used for both, but in this case it was a boy. And if you think about it, name. There's a homonym name, Hayes, which is a surname.
Like Hunter Hayes.
Like hazy. But there's also a bad connotation. It's like for fraternities who haze.
I didn't even think about that. That was not something.
So I don't know if that would come into account. What do you guys think about
that? Wasn't my first. My first like negative connotation that I would think of would be like high.
Oh yeah. I didn't think of that one either.
That's still like a stretch, though, I feel like.
He's hazed.
In a haze.
Yeah. In a haze. Okay.
The next one we have is alpha beta. So
all one word?
All one word.
Okay.
So if Absidy, spelled ABCDE, can be a name, why not alpha beta?
Absidy.
I don't like it spelled that, like Absidy, the sound of Absidy sounds cool, but spelled like that makes the name into a joke, I feel like.
It does. And people will laugh at it. You're right.
Like, how do you spell Absidy?
It's easy to spell.
You're always going to have to spell it.
I have a friend whose last name is Absidy, but it's ABCEDE.
Absidy.
And it's an actual surname. Just has an extra E thrown.
Right. I don't know. Alpha beta sounds like you're about to go into the whole Greek
Yeah, it's
lettering
the first two
system.
letters of the Greek alphabet. So it brought
Yeah.
me back to my sorority days when I'm like,
I like
alpha,
beta. Well,
gamma, delta. We had to memorize that to
yeah.
be, yeah. So I don't know why, but and I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not a fan of alpha beta. I think that's another name that could get you really laughed at and teased.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is beta fish. I don't know.
What's beta?
It's a type of fish.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But you like buy at the store.
Okay. The next one is Kevin with a C. Now it looks like 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say
here in the
you're
US, we're
asking
so
to be
used
named
to
7.
softening the C with an E after it. There's all these rules, and then there's all these breaking of rules.
But 7 has been used as a name, has it not?
Yeah.
Like the number 7,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of cool.
I like the name 7. I think that was originally from Seinfeld.
Was it really?
But people actually name their kids 7. As long as it's not the numeral, it's acceptable.
I think I would rather that name be pronounced 7, and then I think it would be pretty cool. I don't like it. I don't like it pronounced Kevin.
No, I don't like it pronounced Kevin either. Any name that has a common spelling that's a common name.
You're just asking to correct people all your life.
Exactly. It's such a burden on the child.
Well, here's another one that's kind of jumping off of that point is Anthem with a Y, Anthm. I like the name Anthem, and I like how it looks with a Y, but again, you're asking to correct people the rest of your life, or you're asking your child to correct people for the rest of their life.
Yeah, it could look like
Anthem.
I'm not sure I like Anthem as a name. It's a dictionary word. It's
right. Is it too like how
it's grandiose?
Right. Is it expectation name? Like
not really, but Anthem. It's just like, it's a song that represents a big concept.
Right.
Which
right.
is not necessarily bad or good. I
like
just
pop
think
anthems, national anthem.
Right. Yeah.
Big moments. Yeah.
Don't call it American Anthem.
Or Anthem America.
Yeah, something like that would be a big no. Here's one for you, Mame. In 2015, a French judge stopped a couple from naming their child Nutella. It's a brand name. I think that was a good call.
Probably.
First of all, a nut is a crazy person.
Right. So I was going to say, what's the short?
Even.
Yeah.
Nutty.
I feel like a lot
Maybe
of people
Ella.
there was one person who named their kid a brand name and they got something out of it. And now people are like trying to do that and get like a lifetime supply of things.
Right.
So were they expecting a lifetime supply of Nutella? That's what I want to know.
Maybe they were just big fans, or maybe they just liked the sound of the word Nutella.
Right.
Like Isabella.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now in New Zealand, one of my go-tos when people ask me what's the craziest name you've ever heard is Tallulah Does the Hula from Hawaii, which is a little girl in New Zealand, and a judge took custody of her. She's probably like 19 now. But in New Zealand, these names actually got through. Number 16 bus shelter. And violence.
Wait, was number 16 bus shelter like where the baby was born? Like where did that come from? Or conceived?
I hope it wasn't conceived in the number 16 bus
well,
shelter.
But where else would that come from?
Maybe one of them worked in it and just, I don't know.
And then violence?
Violence.
That's terrible expectation.
Like Violet is beautiful. Violence is terrible and can affect the baby's life.
Yeah. There were some other names that were blocked by officials
in the UK.
In the UK. Those ones got through. These ones didn't. Fish and chips. No. Yeah, Detroit. Stallion. Twisty Poi. Keenan Got Lucy, that's one name, Keenan Got Lucy, and Sex Fruit. I want to know the reason.
People, that's all I have to say.
Why would you name your kid Sex Fruit?
I don't know, unless there was something wrong with the translation.
It's from the UK. They speak English.
Oh no, I think these were still New Zealand.
Oh, so they speak English too.
I know. Now their criteria are: it must not cause an offense to any reasonable person. So, define reasonable. Must not be unusually long, but their criteria for that is 100 characters, and that's pretty long.
Yeah,
I think we cut off our names database at 50, and I don't think there's any name in our names database that is 50 characters long. We have over 20,000 names.
Now, question, what happened when the judge in New Zealand took custody of Tallulah Desahula from Hawaii? Is her name now just Tallulah?
No, he just asked the parents to rename it, said it was child abuse.
So what is the name now?
So he wouldn't release custody. Of course, this all happened in probably like a day or two. She didn't stay with the judge or anything.
Yeah.
It was just like to force the parents to change the name. I'm not sure what they changed the name to. That's a good.
We got to figure that out.
We got to look it up. Maybe do a little interview with her. They must not be without adequate justification, include or resemble an official title or rank, which is one of my pet peeves.
So like what, king?
Well, like major. It's like a rank that you have to earn, like in the military.
Okay, so not like king or prince, because we have a lot of those here.
No, I think it's a title or rank.
Doctor.
Because you could be...
You could say, I'm doctor.
Right. Yeah, right. Impersonating a title or rank, which is soul and valor in a way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but it's allowed here in the U.S., and then the final does not include punctuation marks, brackets, or numbers. Elon.
Well, now here's my question with that. Punctuation marks, does that count dashes and apostrophes? Because we also have a lot of that here that's acceptable.
Know. We'll have to look that up. That's interesting.
Like, for example, Davon is D-A apostrophe, isn't that?
Right, yeah.
V-O-N-N-E.
There's a lot of apostrophe names because they've come from the French.
Right.
Allie says, I feel like a lot of the sorority names are expectation names. How so? You mean sorority like Alpha Phi and Delta Zeta?
Do they have meanings behind them?
I don't think so, but there is a hierarchy for sure in the sorority system and in the fraternity system. And maybe that's what Allie was talking about.
So
now, in the UK.
Yes. In the UK, there's no law that restricts names explicitly, but the registering officer may reject it if they contain obscenities, numerals, misleading titles, which we just talked about, or it's impossible to pronounce.
Okay.
But to whom?
So because exactly.
that you start getting into kind of that touchy territory of like, well, it's really not that hard to pronounce, but it might be of a different culture and people just don't want to try.
Right. In fact, there was just a thread on Twitter about W.E.B. Du Bois and his name. He has a document saying it's pronounced Du Bois. Oh. And this woman did like a podcast on it, and people wrote in saying, you pronounced his name wrong. She's like, actually, no, I didn't.
Well, that's also like Chrissy Teigen. She has said numerous times that that's how you pronounce her name, and people still say Teigen because that's like the I don't know. Everybody's just decided that's how you say it, so that's right. How what other people know who you're talking about. You say Chrissy Teigen, but she says it's Chrissy Teigen.
The name is pronounced the way the person who bears the name wants it pronounced.
Right.
End of story. I could be Jennifer if I want to.
Genevieve. Miranda.
Miranda. So the other names that have been rejected in the UK include cyanide. I get that.
Yeah, like poison.
Martian. Monkey. Rogue, which is weird because that's an up and coming name on our baby names list.
I wonder why that would be rejected.
I don't know. Maybe because in the UK rogue? It's like pirate or something. He's an old rogue. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a different connotation in the UK. If you're out there with the name rogue or in the UK and you think it has a different meaning than it does here in the US. For us, it's like swashbuckler or just like
okay.
you just
Okay.
work outside the lines.
I was
It's
thinking
not
of like
necessarily
going
really
rogue.
bad.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, doing things that you aren't expected to do, right?
Mhm.
Means going rogue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or not playing by the rules, basically.
Yes.
So if it means anything more nefarious in the UK, that's interesting. Let us know. And then the last name is Akuma, Akuma, which means devil in Japanese. So I can understand.
It's kind of a cool name, though, Akuma.
But then why in the UK? Why
right.
do they care?
And then aren't there people named Diablo? That's been used as a name before, hasn't it? So it's like, well, that's devil in Spanish. So it's interesting. Yeah, in the UK, why that they would reject that specifically. Because, I mean, are a lot of people in the UK going to know that?
I don't know. Apparently so. Now, in France, this is really interesting. A couple was banned from naming their daughter Joyeux, Joyeux, which just means happy. But the court said it was rejected because it was fantastical and it was ridiculous and it could create difficulties and embarrassment for the child.
Which wouldn't that be the equivalent of an American Joy? We have plenty of women named Joy.
Know. And isn't Joie, Joie, a name too?
Probably. Or Jolie.
Jolie, right?
So that's like bizarre that it's like fantastical. It's like
maybe because it's expectation and they'd have to be joyous the whole time. But I mean, again, you talk about cultures, we have no idea of knowing what that means or how offensive that is in another culture to us.
Right. Like not like maybe naming someone here Jester or something. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be in that it would be offensive.
I know. So Jessica says, I'm not from the UK, but maybe rogue has anarchical? Oh, like anarchy connotations. Yeah. It's a possibility. Like you wouldn't want to name a child Anarchy.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Or mutiny.
Yeah, mutiny.
Since we're on the pirates.
Back to the pirates. And Allie says sorority names like Alpha would be expected to be a leader. So like Alpha male, yeah, that's for sure. Or Omega, the last, means the last, kind of a connotation. Anthem may be expected to put on more of a show or to be popular. That's an interesting concept, huh?
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. And Adamoye says culture is dynamic. That's for sure. Yeah. Like you don't know if you're not in somebody's and steeped in another culture, what it means to them. For sure.
And jumping off of that, another rejected name coming from Sonora, Mexico, which is actually where my grandma's from. They banned the name circumcision. And I'm just wondering, was that like a translation thing where they just thought it sounded cool and didn't know what it meant? Because or maybe they thought of it, like maybe they looked it up and it just said it was like.
Maybe they got the paperwork confused.
Maybe.
Like you had your baby name paperwork and you had your circumcision paperwork and somehow the wires got crossed.
Yeah, because I would think you'd at least, if it wasn't in the language you're naming your child, you'd look up what it meant. And you'd be like, I don't know. I feel like that might have been a translation thing.
That was a good call.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, in Iceland, this is a little sketch. If a name isn't listed in the National Register of Persons, they can pay a fee and apply for it to be added.
That's a little like I don't know, dystopian. Like you have to, or that reminds me of like what is it called? Twilight Zone, where they all had to choose like a personality like it's kind of like.
Well, there are countries that make you choose off of a certain specified name list. And there are countries that use our website as the arbiter of what names are acceptable.
So much power.
It's like, talk about the pressure. But we've gotten messages, emails from parents saying, would you please add this to your site? We want to use it as a baby name, but our government won't let us unless it's on an official database and they consider your cite an official database, which is lovely. I think that's wonderful. And of course, we still research them because we want to make sure that we're not adding something that is offensive and letting everyone in that country name their child a
That's
certain
interesting. That is because at some point, then everyone's just going to have the same name. Same 5 names.
Well, it's probably not 5 names.
Speaking of names in databases, how many people out there also know that we have Petbabynames.com, which is our sister site for naming your pet?
Yeah, we do. It's a fun site. We have some cool categories like matching names. If you're adopting like 2 cats at the same time, we have male, 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 female, and female, female matching names, like Thelma and Louise, things that would go well together. So we have some really cute things to name your pets. And a little funny story though, the pet names and the baby names on our back end are all in the same database. I don't know why I did this, but they are. And then there's this little designation on what type of name is it? Is it purely a pet name like Snowball, obviously, or could it be both, which is like Snow, because Snow could be a pet name or a people name, or is it just a person name like Steve, right?
Well, no, so we separate them out.
I know, and you have a cat's named Vera, but I had to separate them somehow. Yeah. And you can still get to the full human names database on petbabynames.com. But there's one that I forgot to designate as pet only, and we got this ridiculous feedback on it. And they're like, matzo ball is not a name. Nobody should name their child matzo ball. And I was like, oh no. So it actually, matzo ball was in the human names database.
I'm going to name my kid matzo ball. Matzo ball Mendelsohn.
I think it's beautiful.
It's perfect.
So that was funny. And so I went back and checked them, but so I apologize if you have named your child matzo ball. Don't name your child matzo ball. So we do have petbabynames.com. Head over there and take a look if you're looking for names. I know a lot of shelters go there too because they have to name a lot of animals. Mm-hmm. And they try to look for cute names to help them get adopted. Yeah. What was like
I know. Name was like we had a cat,
Jazz Sticks or something.
We had one cat that was just named September 19th, which was like the day that it arrived at the shelter. It didn't have like a name. Yeah. And then there was another one where it was like Jazz Stick something.
Drumsticks. Yeah. That was so bizarre. Of course, we changed those names.
Yes. We do have some celebrity baby news that we've reported over on the baby blogs. First being that Anne Hathaway and her husband, Adam Schulman, finally revealed after a year what their baby's name is, and it is Jack. And Jack joins older brother Jonathan. And I feel like that was super anticlimactic.
Very basic.
Well, I mean,
it's a popular name.
You think after a year of hiding it, you're like, what's this name? Is it going to be weird?
Yeah, for privacy reasons, I guess. Jack and Jonathan. They go together pretty well. They're very classic names. And another thing in our blogs that went up in the past week is that our blogger Kelly Flanagan, created a name list of iconic names from television commercials. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like Madge. Oh, you probably don't even remember Madge. And Flo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the Geico Gecko. Do you know his name?
He has a name?
He actually has a name. I'm going to look it up. Hold on.
Have they ever said it before? Isn't it just
I'm
Gecko?
Not sure if they've ever said it before or if somebody asked them, does the gecko have a name? But his name is Martin.
Wow, okay. Martin the guy. What about Affleck?
Affleck is, we didn't do those that are also the brand names.
Okay, got it.
But there's hey, Mikey likes it and things like that. That's probably before your time too. Sorry, Charlie, the tuna.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So these are not for millennials. Okay.
Well, I know Flo is relevant.
The progressive insurance
progressive
lady. Yeah. And Mayhem. You probably know Mayhem from the other insurance commercial.
Yes.
Don't name your child Mayhem, please. Okay. So head on over there.
And also, Hilary Duff announced just a few days ago that she's expecting her third child with husband Matthew Coma. Her older children are Banks Violet, who's a girl, and Luca Cruz, who's a boy.
It's Banks Violet Bear, Bair. So that must have been a family name. Banks Violet Bear Coma.
Interesting. Okay.
Banks Coma. Not sure I like Banks, but it's kind of growing on me.
For some reason, I think of Banks as more of a male name than female. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't know. Because is Banksy?
It's a surname.
Oh, me. Yeah, but
Banksy
surnames can be anything. Surnames aren't gendered.
Do we know for sure Banksy's a guy?
No, we don't know who Banksy is at all. Banks. I wonder why. I don't know. It just seems masculine to me, but I think it's cool.
Now, Jessica says, wait, isn't Jack originally a diminutive of Jonathan? Actually, it's a diminutive of John. So John, is a form of Jonathan. So she named her child the same name.
Maybe that's why they waited a year.
And the next one's going to be Jackie.
Yeah.
And then the next one's going to be Johnny. So who knows?
That's funny.
Anyway, for more celebrity baby news and name articles, you can go to babynames.com/blogs. We have a whole bunch of stuff up there. We do have a podcast opening at the end of November that does not have a subject. So if there's a name topic that you would like us to talk about, let us know. We've done a lot about fictional names, so we kind of want to stay away from that. The other thing we were thinking of doing is maybe behind the scenes at Baby Names and talk about the history of Baby Names and how we created the database and who runs what, because it is a family-owned business. And we have a couple contractors that work for us, but mostly it's run by our family. And so I think some people might want to hear about that. And Grandma Maggie, too. We can talk about the history of Grandma Maggie, my mama, who Miranda was named after. So that's your middle name. Yes. Our next episode, you want to take that, is going to be...
So our next episode, that's a topic I'm very interested in. Does a name determine your success? So we're going to analyze the names of presidents, prime ministers, CEOs, and other leaders. What do you think? Before we share that podcast, do you think it could play a part? I think that you've spoken about this in the past in terms of like diminutive names like Birdie,
right, like
or
Pixie command a boardroom.
Right. So does that play a part? Maybe in perception that could lead to your success?
Well, there have been some studies on names and children in classrooms for sure.
Well, yeah,
there's been name bias
for sure.
So we can talk about that. But when you grow up in your career, does it affect your career? This is something that's really interesting.
Well, I think that it'd be interesting because you hear a lot of Charlies growing up to be called Charles. Billies go by Bill. Is it a maturity thing or is it because you feel silly being called Billy at work? You know what I mean?
You think you'll be taken more seriously if you have a formal name. Right. Well, that's kind of why I tell people that if you're going to use a nickname, then that's fine to use a nickname, but don't put that on the birth certificate. Right. Give them the choice of using a formal name if they want to. It just opens up possibilities for your child.
Yeah.
Of course, anyone can change their name. We have a whole episode about changing your name too, but we have two actually. But I think if you're going to name your child Charlie, I don't know, for a girl, it could be short for Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Boy, Charles, or I have a friend named Charles. It's a contraction of Charles, which I like. So anybody else have any other Q&A before we leave for the episode? We do thank you for joining us. We always love answering listener questions. You can always email us at podcast@babynames.com, or you can even call our message line and leave a question in your own voice. And that is 702-848-5510. So we will actually play that recording right live on the show, as long as it's appropriate.
No obscenities, no punctuation.
Yeah, no. Right. Has to be easy to pronounce. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Enjoy your weekend.
Happy Halloween.
And election day. Don't forget to vote. At this point, go in person. Okay. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.